Good morning, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It's Tuesday. The Packers, for all intents and purposes, are off today, though the coaches are undoubtedly in working on stuff. Players are off, won't be back on the practice field until Wednesday. But the Packers' assistant coaches, while working, are also getting interest from around the league. We already knew that Nathaniel Hackett had been requested to interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now the Chicago Bears are sniffing around the Packers offensive coordinator, while Luke Getsy has received a request from the Denver Broncos. Have to think a few more will be on the offer come, the rest of this week. This is the week where teams can strike, essentially. The rules have changed somewhat in the last few years in regards to who can interview when, but this is the fertile ground, so to speak, this week when the Packers are off, the Titans are off, so perhaps the Titans assistants get some play as well. But we'll see how these interviews play out. I still suspect that more often than not, these are exploratory things. Teams cast a wide net and try to talk to as many people as possible. But all it takes is one interview, getting inside the door, blowing somebody's socks off. It happened back in the day with Mike Sherman when uh, he interviewed, basically blew away the Packers brass, and um, more recently Matt LaFleur, a very well covered idea that Mark Murphy, Gutekunst, and Russ Ball had visited with a lot of people on their tour, so to speak, of interviewing head coaches. And to Murphy's quote, no one had blown their socks off. And then in walks Matt LaFleur and did exactly that. So you never really know. Once you get inside the door, that's your chance. So we'll see what Nathaniel Hackett, Luke Getsy, and maybe some other people do with these opportunities. Obviously, selfishly, as Packers fans, we're undoubtedly hoping they ain't going nowhere, but you do root for success. You do hope somebody like Nathaniel Hackett gets a shot. And with Hackett especially, I really am rooting for him to get a head coaching job simply because of the way he was treated down in Jacksonville, which it is kind of funny that he's getting that interview in Jacksonville. But to be scapegoated the way he was and now to be able to turn around and have opportunities for head coaching positions is pretty great. Gotta like it. Good morning, everybody in the comments section. Good to see you all. Hope you're all doing well. Starting off with Chris with a super chat. How you doing, buddy? Good morning, Nags. Happy Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Yes, we'll hear from Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee program later this afternoon. Heard from AJ Dillon last night on Carry the G. If you missed that, make sure you check it out on the Cheesehead TV YouTube channel. Big B is here. John, Big B, shouldn't you be in school? Big B is everywhere all the time. You can't contain Big B. Big B is omniscient. It's the way it is. Dale, good day from London. Good day from New York City. I hope you're well. GBP Daily, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. My memory is slightly hazy this morning. Do you know when the Bears or Vikings play this weekend? Hmm. Um. Hmm. I don't believe they do. I believe their season is over, and they are both looking for new head coaches. But thanks for the refresher. Rodgers owns the Bears so bad they want to be the Packers. I think they just want competence at this point. That McCaskey press conference yesterday, Toledo baby, wow. Um, as long as the McCaskies are in charge of the Bears, I think we're going to be okay, Packers fans. My word. Accidental Hero, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. How much does Matt LaFleur's 3-year dominance of the division have to do with the Bears and Vikes? Pack gets a new GM and coach. Boom, we dominate 3 seasons and counting. Well, I think obviously that combination has worked really well. I think Zimmer's, been a bit of a thorn in their side, and they're probably not unhappy to see him go. You never really know when they make these coaching moves. Sometimes it is the better the devil you know. But I do think obviously Vikings are looking for a clean slate with the firing of both Zimmer and Spielman. But it's always interesting how chemistry works, and always interesting how divisions work. As far as, yes, the Packers have had dominance now again those last 3 years, but don't ever forget that moment when the Bears were on top and they were jawing and goading, and they thought that the tides were turning. It all can slip away real quick, and I'm not saying that's going to happen with the Packers, but we don't know what the future holds as far as Aaron Rodgers and what this team is going to look like next year, given the salary cap crunch and the issues there. So just soak it up, man. Soak up every second. David, thanks for the super chat. Dean Lowry is the man. Dean Lowry killed a guy. I just like saying that, but it's he. My goodness, he came to work on Sunday against the Lions. Um, all year long, there have been like one or two plays a game where he just mauls somebody, and I absolutely love it. And Sunday was no different. Dean is in for the amount of shit he has taken throughout his career from Packers fans. He is playing at a high level, and he plays good football. And the Packers are lucky to have him. Oh, Donald, thank you very much. Hope you have a great 2022, buddy. Thank you so much. Uh, an owner is the last thing the Packers need. Yeah, Gary, it is interesting to see how every time there's anything, and I mean anything, like somebody trips in the parking lot and Mike Florio will write a piece. Now, if the Packers had an owner, they would have a much better parking lot. It's like every single time anything happens with the Packers, that is the echo chamber that instantly gets started up online. But then you turn around and you look at all these teams with owners and you're like, no thanks. I mean, Stephen Ross has been fucking up for what? How long? A decade at least. I mean, the McCaskies, the Fords, how they all doing? Dan Snyder, John Mara single-handedly took a crown jewel of the NFL, one of the premier franchises in the National Football League in the New York Giants, and has turned it into an absolute pile of manure. So, yeah, I'm going to pass on having an owner. Thanks. I like the way the Packers operate. Keep it to yourself. Some super chats. Don't want to miss the super chats. We'll see. Kurt, thanks for the super chat. If Denver hires Hackett, does that seal the deal for a Rodgers trade as well? I don't know if it seals the deal, but it makes that transition a hell of a lot easier if Aaron does go there. I'll tell you that. But I don't think it seals anything. John, thanks for the super chat. Morning, Nags. I wake up every morning and thank the good Lord that I am not a Bears fan. Do you know of any restrictions on Z when he plays? Well, he's got to get on the practice field first. I know we're all very excited, but Matt did temper some of those expectations yesterday, just in the sense of let's get him on the practice field tomorrow, see how he looks. So we won't have the answer to that for a while yet. I mean, he's got obviously practice to go through this week, and then next week as well. We'll see. I would suspect he'll probably start by doing individual stuff this week, and then ease into team stuff next week. But hopefully, not too many, if any. But it's probably just still a little bit too early to say. Would you agree that the most valuable assistant coach is Steno? John, it's hard to argue with that one. I mean, I think you can make a case for Jerry Gray, but Stenovich probably gets the nod simply because of how deep down the chart they've gone this year and still produced excellent play up front in front of your face of your franchise MVP quarterback. So I think, there are a couple worthy nominations there, but yeah, Steno would be my pick. Absolutely. Coopers, please give me negative degrees at Lambeau next weekend. It's trending that way. I know from early reports and very early, obviously, weather patterns and reports, it looks like it's going to be about as cold as it was for the Vikings game the other night, which is plenty cold, which I would love. Would love to see us crush the 49ers for some postseason payback. Yeah, I mean, I'd be down with that. I mean, speaking of cold, the last time the 49ers were in Lambeau for the postseason, it was bitterly cold. That was Micah Hyde's rookie year when he dropped that interception that would have sealed the game. That was a tough one, man. That was a tough one. But obviously, we also know all the other times the 49ers ran over the Packers. It is funny, though, because for those of us of an older ilk, we remember a time when the 49ers couldn't beat the Packers to save their lives, postseason or no, especially in the postseason. In fact, when Mariucci got hired as head coach, he jokingly said the first thing he thought is, how the hell are we going to beat the Packers? That's how it used to be. So I'm with you. I would love some retribution, but just always remember that the 49ers were living on a time that those moments, those Kaepernick kind of teams that ran all over the Packers, they were simply getting their retribution for all the 90s stuff that we whooped up on our way to a couple Super Bowls. It's all cyclical. All cyclical. Rice fumbled. You damn right he did. Man. Well, won't we know the time and day of our, I think you mean game. Uh, Not until next weekend, until wild card weekend, and it is a possibility, depending on what happens earlier in the weekend, we might not even know until Monday night. Um, but we'll see. Most likely Sunday afternoon, I would suspect. But got to watch the games play out. Hey, Aaron, looking into the future, if you could only keep one, Rodgers or Adams, who do you keep? I have a feeling it's at best a one or the other. Not necessarily, Chad. We'll see what they do with um, the franchise tag, which they have rarely, if ever, utilized, but it is, an arrow in the quiver, so to speak. If I had to, I mean, if I had to keep one, they said you have to keep one of them. I'd probably keep Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I love Devontae, but they are now what 7-0 without him with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So I think that's a pretty easy decision if you have to keep one. Big Cheese, thank you for the super chat. Which team in the playoffs would give the Pack the most fits? I don't know, man. I mean, they've all got interesting kind of matchup prospects. I think the 49ers run game would be a tough row to hoe. I mean, that's why the offense comes into play, and you've got to get a lead. Um, yeah, I don't know. And obviously, the Buccaneers, they've shown they've got the formula: run the ball, play good defense. They'd be a tough out, no question about it. Cowboys, especially if you fall behind at the Cowboys and those pass rushers can pin their ears back, that's an issue. Kind of the same thing with the Cardinals too. They can rush the passer with a lead. They're getting J.J. Watt back now. Didn't have him last time around, and I know the Packers didn't have Devontae. I mean, even the Eagles, man. I know, everyone's gonna laugh, but I think the Eagles got a lot of talent on that team. Again, you get one special teams mess up, give them good field position, they get ahead a couple scores, anything can happen. So there ain't anybody in this field that I'm looking at like, oh yeah, we would just take care of them. Like everybody's gonna be a tough out. TKM, thanks for the super chat. Good morning, Aaron. Got nothing. Puppy Pappy's fun. Have a safe week. Thanks, TKM. Good to see you at your post. How can you tag Adams if you are over the cap? Well, Bernie, you wouldn't be over the cap once you tagged. You got to take care of the other contracts first. And you have to think Russ Ball is going to be getting busy as soon as this season is over, the second this season is over, working things out when it comes to the cap. Now, would they work towards cutting all these guys just so they could tag Adams? I doubt it. But you can't dismiss it as a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. And the other thing is they don't have to. You can have an agreement or not even have an agreement because you're probably not going to talk to the agents about it. But you can have the idea when you're putting together your puzzle piece. Okay, we're going to tag Adams. You can say that on February 15th, and not after you actually have to make the designation until the start of the new league year, which isn't until the following month. So, but just work around as though that chunk of change is going to be taken up. What else we got? The playoffs doesn't seem to have any teams that can't go 1-0. Going to be great games this year, I expect. I very much agree. Checking in from Laguna Beach. What's up, Thomas? Hello from chilly New York City. Very glad the bye lined up with my vacation this year. Funny to see you so early in the morning. What's practice like this week for the team? Thomas, practice mostly will be a lot of self-scout, a lot of cleanup from what went wrong in the Detroit game. They'll go back and look at fundamentals, concepts that they either want to brush up on, maybe install a few new things that they've been working on or like going forward. They think they haven't utilized enough, or maybe they found some new plays around the league they want to incorporate. A lot of brush up, a lot of technique work. Just trying to stay sharp as they wait to see who they play the following week. Does the head coach, what is it? Whoa, sorry. Where did you go? Does the head coach in the post-game conference interview set the tone for the team for the next week? LaFleur seemed angry. Yeah, Robin, LaFleur was not happy after that game. There's no question about it. I doubt that press conference sets much of a tone when it comes to the team. Now, what he's like behind closed doors with the team, That would set the tone, and if it follows upon that press conference, there's a good possibility. But I suspect he probably cooled off and has been his even keeled self in front of the team. But you never know. But those guys aren't watching that. I mean, they may hear about it on social or something, but that really has little effect on the team itself. Hey, let's say hello, hello to our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code Cheesehead. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new players a deposit bonus of up to $1,000 in free credits with their first deposit. Head to the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and check out all they have to offer, including same game parlays, player props, live betting, and so much more. DraftKings, America's top rated sportsbook app, is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. If Sportsbook is not yet available in your state, don't forget about the DraftKings Fantasy app. They are offering millions of dollars in total prizes every single flippin' week. Do it. The DraftKings Sportsbook app. I did a couple parlays the other day. I may even take on the wild card round. You should play along with me. It's gonna be a lot of fun, people. Do it. Do it. What else we got here? What else we got? Moises, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Nags, is Merciless out for the season? Yes. Yes, he will not return, unfortunately. Big Cheese, thanks for the super chat. How big of a loss would Hackett be if he leaves? It's a good question. It's always really kind of hard to pinpoint um, the direct impact. Any kind of assistant, but especially a offense coordinator who doesn't call the plays. We all know that they're working behind the scenes as far as building the offense and the concepts and tendencies and things like that. It's really hard to say. I think it would have an effect. I don't know if it's a major one negatively or positively. It would definitely change the dynamic, certainly change the chemistry a little bit. But I don't know that it would be a monster difference without him there, simply because, it's Matt LaFleur's show. Now, I think some of it changes too if Aaron Rodgers leaves along with Hackett, and then you've got Jordan Love at quarterback, and I guess Luke Getsy maybe, although I would imagine Getsy probably tries to follow Rodgers. I think that starts to change things significantly. But just Hackett, I don't think the Packers operation changes a whole lot. I mean, I think obviously they'll miss his energy and they'll miss his creativity, but on the outside looking in, I don't think much changes that we can see. Oh boy. If Hackett and Getsy both leave, would you elevate the O-line coach, or is he valuable at O-line? I mean, it's a possibility. He already kind of is involved in some of that stuff. We've heard Aaron and Matt both mention along the way this season of like certain plays that Steno designed or took from other people and said, let's try to run this. So it's clear he's already got some input in that regard. So maybe they do elevate him title wise, but I don't think his job description would change a whole bunch. I think they want him obviously working with the line, although, they got Butkus there and he's done a good job. They praise him every chance they get. So maybe they give him more responsibility with the O line and let Steno do a little bit more game planning and things of that nature. Dave, thank you for the super chat. Am I getting too excited too quickly, or is it possible that Tyler Davis looks like he could be a true Y for the Packers? I mean, he's certainly been a pleasant surprise. I think it's still early, but you definitely like the way he's trending. Yeah, he's still insanely young. Let's let him play a little bit. But yeah, they seem to have found something there. There's no doubt about it. Now, the league is littered with guys who flashed and then disappeared. The big key in the NFL is consistency, maintaining it and having it and being able to do it not only from week to week, month to month, but from year to year, season to season. What are your off-season work habits like? Do you come in ready to go, picking up where you left off, maintaining and retaining all the information and lessons learned from the first season, and you carry them into your next year? It doesn't always happen. I mean, you hope it does, but it's not a given. So I'm with you. I'm excited about him. I think he's got a lot of talent. You start throwing him and DeGuara and Tunyon on the field together, you could have some fun, but still very early. But again, yes, I definitely like the what do you call it? The potential there. Josh, thank you for the super chat. Is it possible the Packers, mainly the defense, were more concerned about walking away healthy versus going a little too hard, posing a risk to injury. I mean, yeah, it's human nature, I guess. You hate to think of it that way, but is it possible? Sure. I think maybe that's possibly what Matt was not too happy about. Because a good way to get hurt is to play not up to 100%, not go full bore, and worry about getting hurt. Because a lot of times you'll end up getting hurt. Um, I mean, is it possible? Sure. I would doubt it, but you never know. Javon Wallace, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. J Love is ridiculous. Any young QB playing a Rod style offense will fail. Needs to be tailor made to his strengths, RPO, short passing game, etc. Plus, he's only played 6 games. Relax. I mean, I'm relaxed, dude. Calmer than you are. Yeah, I very much agree. This is the thing that kind of kills me whenever Jordan Love gets an opportunity in mop-up duty or no. I mean, the offense is so clearly designed for 12, and they have tailored some of the stuff in that start against Kansas City to Jordan, but for the most part, it's the same offense they've been running the entire year. Same when he came in the game the other day. Um, Now that doesn't absolve him from decision making. It doesn't absolve him from poor plays. Uh, but it will look vastly different when he is the number one and they do spend the entirety of the offseason building the offense around him rather than 12 and uh, spending a week game planning, getting ready for whatever it is he does well, as opposed to, oh, our starter's not here. We've got to drop him in the offense we've created this season for 12. I very much agree with that sentiment. But, you can't dismiss um, anything that happens on the field just because, oh, he's playing in a different offense. That is part of the gig. I mean, you are there as the backup in case something happens to the starter and or you need to play in whatever offense. So, but I agree. I agree with the overall sentiment. Matt, thank you for the super chat. How does this team stack up talent-wise with the rest of the playoff field? Am I biased or are we underrated by some of the analysts out there? They're always underrated. You know that. They're the number one team in the NFC, and people, love the Cowboys or love the Buccaneers. Hell, they even love the 49ers now, and of course they love LA because they have all the big names, right? I, I mean, I don't know. I haven't paid attention to most major national outlets when it comes to the NFL in such a long time. I'm so buried into the Packers singularly. I couldn't begin to tell you how they match up talent wise. I mean, I used to do that all the time when I covered the league for SI, for Bleacher Report. But now, I don't know. I'm so burrowed in. I couldn't really tell you. I will say though, you can safely ignore. I mean, I watched, what was it the other day? Yesterday morning, I was watching, there was a clip on my Twitter from Get Up, I think it was, on ESPN. And Rex Ryan was going after Brandon Staley of the Chargers for taking the time out at the end of the game, but I guess overall just his coaching style and whatever. I'm like, the guy is like a first year head coach. Did they get to the playoffs? No, but they're on the precipice of it. They got some nice things going on there with LA. And I'm just like, Rex Ryan is just like shouting at his people at the table and I guess to the audience. I'm just like, who watches this? Who consumes this as anything other than a clown show? I was like, you're not learning anything. And I know, I get it, man. I get it. That's programming, NFL programming that the masses consume. They lap it up. And I can't argue with that. Give the people what they want kind of thing. But man, it was kind of a glimpse into like how a lot of the people who love NFL football or watch NFL football, how they consume ideas around the game. As much as I love Mina Kimes and that crew, Orlovsky, what have you, they say they actually study the game, but they don't get the run that, people shouting on television and, Stephen A doing his thing or whatever, who I think is a genius, but it's just like the masses consume it in such a different way. And I have to kind of temper myself, like, especially on game days when I'm getting like tweets in my feed, like, man, there are people who just have no idea what they're looking at, like none. And some of those people are on television telling you what they're looking at. So man, I don't know. That's a long-winded answer to say, who cares what anyone fucking says when it comes to the Packers and how they stack up talent-wise? They're a super talented team. They've got a really good chance of making a run to the Super Bowl, and that's all that matters. The rest of it is just noise. It's just noise. Ed, thank you for the super chat. My God, Love threw an interception, unlike Favre, who never threw one. All right. I get what you're saying, but I don't think anybody's even coming close to comparing the two. Who do you want to play if you got to pick playoffs matchup for the Pack? Probably the Cowboys. I love the drama. I want Mike and Lambeau. Bring it. All right, everybody. I'm going to have to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a huge favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family, Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Go Pack Go.